Don't forget to smash that like button.
So what's your beef with the Nazis?
Did you watch Jiminy Glick? Oh my god. We need to pause recording so I can play a Jiminy Glick video for...
Oh, do it at the end.
Okay.
Roughly, it's just say it's Martin Short's.
Martin Short.
Oh, yeah.
He has a character where he interviews different celebrities. He's got one where he's interviewing Mel Brooks. At one point he goes, so what's your beef with the Nazis? And Mel Brooks just completely loses it.
That really is the line for the era that we're currently in. What's your beef with the Nazis? Because people are on the right are more or less asking that question now. But yeah, lots happened.
10,000 bleachers in a trench coat. Elon Musk has gone through another recent divorce, this time from reality, which took half of his wealth in the form of Tesla stock, which tanked by 121 billion, which is half of his personal net worth. So that's good. I thought I would start on a positive note. Does anybody feel good about that? He's only personally worth 121 billion now.
I mean, I feel that we lack ambition if we're happy with that, don't we? We need to get that much lower than that. But
I mean, he was on Joe Rogan. Did you see that? I couldn't.
no, I don't watch Joe Rogan.
There was one part he said that he really fears for his life since taking over DOGE.
Good.
He's seen no... Yeah. Since taking over DOGE, he's been getting lots and lots of death threats, which I don't agree with, because he should have been getting death threats way before now.
Yeah, what have you all been doing?
I know.
And it's all talk and no action, as far as I can see so far. It's like, come on.
No. So, somebody called Mario has the opportunity to do something really funny.
I mean, this is presumably why he keeps wearing his fucking kid like a St. Christopher.
His kid called Kevlar.
What was he saying on Joe?
I couldn't get through it. He did at one point say that Social Security is the world's biggest Ponzi scheme. And then when asked to clarify, provided evidence that he has no fucking idea what A, Social Security, and B, a Ponzi scheme is.
Yeah. From somebody whose entire wealth consists of the stock market.
Yeah.
And he got fact-checked by Joe Rogan.
No, he did not get fact-checked by Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan went, what do you mean by that? Elon Musk talked a lot of shit, and Joe went,
Joe understand now. Joe comprehend. And
it was possible for me to be disappointed in Joe Rogan because I thought so little of him before, but I've been so disappointed by the way he's been glazing Elon Musk 24/7. I hate all of these cunts. I never ever signed up for the universe where I was... Clearly Elon Musk is the main character of this reality at the moment. I think we can probably all agree that he is the main character. I have to hear about him all the time.
Well, he's the main antagonist. I don't know if he's the protagonist.
Yeah, he's not good.
Can't I say Hitler is the main character, isn't it?
Zelensky is our hero, and he's our heel.
Yeah.
To be
He was
fair,
booked in a handicap match in the White House with Zelensky recently, but he fought well.
yeah, I think
I think he kind of got I think he went over actually. Yeah. He was brilliant during all of that. I loved the way that Zelensky carried himself in a manner that conveyed that he could end everybody in that room at the drop of a hat. It was so good. He also got some really good zingers on everybody. Not everybody, but he got the guy that was like, why aren't you wearing a suit?
Marty Taylor Greene's boyfriend.
Yeah. And he was like, I'll wear a suit once the war's over. Maybe one that's better than yours. And I was like, oh.
Well, he actually says, I'll wear a costume when the war is over. And I think that he said maybe it wasn't like yours.
Didn't come right actually in the costume is actually, that is the word for suit.
Is it?
Yeah, translated. So, but yeah, although it happened to work very well because it came across as him going, I'll wear a stupid costume. But that's, I think, how everyone got a bit fired up in the room afterwards. Because everybody forgot that, this guy is not doing this in his first language.
Or a second.
And
third language.
Which made all the other American people so much more pathetic.
There was a similar thing that happened with Trump and Putin where Trump got really excited because he thought Putin had called him bright. But the actual translation was colourful.
Neon.
Bright orange, man.
No, that question from Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, I think, was when the tone shifted.
Yeah.
Because before that, it was quite light-hearted and jovial. Trump did keep repeating, "We're not going to offer any security. We just want this deal done. Stop asking me about that. We just want to get this deal done." But Zelensky was just sort of sitting, not really saying anything. And then that guy asked that question in such an aggressive way.
Yeah.
That it just was so out of place. Like, what a subnormal human interaction. It was so out of place.
Here's the thing, though. It was definitely a setup. So, because at one point, and it was the Daily Mail that reported on this. This is where the Daily Mail is on the fucking side of the angels. The entire thing was that Trump winked at MTG's boyfriend. It was like, right, off you go.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I only saw the highlights, so to speak.
Yeah, and there's no way Vance would have charged in like that unless he knew he had permission to. So the whole thing was, because if you think about what they've done subsequently, it depended upon them giving themselves an excuse to do what they're now doing with regards to removing the aid, removing the intelligence, removing the access to the Marslick satellites, the private satellite imaging private corporation, but they've taken all of that away, which means that the Ukrainians can't even fucking defend themselves against when strikes are coming in. They've got a lot less notice, so they're more civilians are going to die. But the excuse for all of this is, oh well, he's not interested in peace. They had to have a break. And one theory I came across that I put a lot of credence in, I think it's a good theory, is that it's because Trump had been shooting his mouth off saying, we're going to have European peacekeeper troops in Ukraine. Well, that's the last fucking thing that Putin wants. And Putin just immediately went, no, won't be satisfied with that. So Trump's basically fucking led himself down a cul-de-sac. And then the only option for him is to find some way to blame it on Zelensky. So the whole thing was a fucking work.
Yeah, it didn't matter, though, because he handled it so well. He just was great from the jump. The body language he had as well. There was a moment where he just leans back in the chair and does puts his folds his arms, and it was just like, I'm not having any of this shit.
Yeah.
And I thought he just dealt with it great. It backfired massively, because even just if you watch it without the audio, like the visual tells the story, which is very pro wrestling. But yeah, that it conveyed that. It just looked like a bunch of ugly, stupid Americans leaning in, trying to pick on a decent guy.
There's a fantastic speech by a French senator the other night that
Claude.
So wonderful, and he said, like there's a line in it about I can't remember the exact wording, but basically the guy that ran away from military service tries to preach to the war hero Zelensky before dismissing him like a stable hound.
Yeah. Well, there's so many weird things about it too, because we mentioned the thing about the suit, but I mean, where's the through thread logic of, right, so when Zelensky doesn't wear a suit, for reasons that are quite understandable, this is to show solidarity with the frontline soldiers that are fighting for his country, that's totally fine. Yes. But yet the guy that isn't elected turning up in a t-shirt and a baseball cap is not disrespecting the office.
The thing that I've been reading is everybody pointing out that Churchill turned up in a boiler suit because that was his thing. Like, he did exactly the same thing that Zelensky does. It's like he would routinely appear in very, working clothes. I mean, he liked the boiler suit because he said he could be in it in 90 seconds in the case of an air raid. So Churchill spent quite a lot of the war dressed basically like a mechanic. And it's all like managing the expectations of your troops and being seen as understanding them and not remote and all that. That's vital. And Zelensky's only did exactly the same as Churchill did, and Churchill was really good at this shit. But yeah, there's photographs of Churchill at the fucking White House in a boiler suit. There's one of him wearing a fucking dressing gown. You know what I mean? You've got a bust of Churchill. They just fucking learn some history. These cunts know no history at all.
It doesn't matter, because neither do any of their base.
No. Listen, do you know what? Sorry, I'm just going to have to, while I remember this, apparently quite a lot of them are all right about them getting rid of NOAA, which is their equivalent to the Met Office, because they think, well, I've got the weather on my phone now.
Oh, good Lord.
This might not be a very well thought out opinion or a popular one. I think we just put a big glass dome over America and just let them figure the...
Like when you catch a spider with a mixing bowl.
Just glass over them. They are a lost cause. And so many Americans are like, I mean, why should we be helping Ukraine? It's like, why should we be giving them money that we don't get anything out of that?
Most of the money that has been spent in American manufacturing.
But I don't even
Fuckwits.
know how to begin to talk to somebody that fucking stupid that they even have to ask that question.
Yeah.
It's not even like, oh, do you not know your political history? Do you not know fucking anything about anything that's ever happened in the world ever?
Nope.
Oh, it's honestly infuriating.
The weather one was just one of those ones where you like. I can remember when once when we moved house and my kids didn't understand why the internet wasn't working straight away because we bought the router from the old one, and me and you have that moment of realization of right. I mean, there were other kids, but it's like you don't fucking understand how any of this actually works. It's just that box makes the internet happen, and it's that, isn't it? The weather app thing. It's like, well, yeah, I've got the weather app on my phone. And where? Did you think your fucking phone just knows that? Muppet features. Like, it's...
It probably goes into the misunderstanding of AI as well, because that feels like that tracks with that, as in like, oh, but the magic phone is smart. It's a smartphone, so therefore it knows what the weather is, and it's not understanding how anything actually happens. Yeah. That is the problem with it. The biggest problem that country has is their relationship with religion is so screwed up that they are so susceptible to magical thinking. Yeah. So whether it's just like blind religious or conspiracy, or in Trump's case, both. It's the intersection of those things at high speed.
They're all going to die of measles, though, so I think the thing's going to sort itself out.
Yeah, we're watching it. This is evolution in action, folks.
Second is that Mexico has imposed a travel warning against going to America because of measles.
Terrific.
I have to say, like, the Mexican president, she's great. Claudia Sheinbaum. That's her name, is it? Claudia Sheinbaum?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have to wonder, how fucking nails does she have to be? As pretty macho Catholic society that a female Jew has gotten to be president with 80% approval ratings. She must kick ass. She's like, can you imagine? And they love her. They absolutely fucking love it. And she's dealing with Trump beautifully.
She's suing them in American courts. I think that's brilliant.
And America will pay the bill.
But I think it could have been a much worse situation for Mexico if they got a kind of macho guy who was doing fucking like equal and opposite macho nonsense, whereas she's just like she's just being scathing. She's just throwing shade, and she's being a really, really good, resolute leader. Similar with Canada, actually.
Canadians have done well. Ruining the American national anthem.
Good luck trying to find a bottle of Jack Daniels in Canada these days.
Yeah, but no, they've all rallied together. Actually, on George Washington Day, a couple of weeks ago, I was supposed to have a call at work, and I joined. It was just me and my colleague in Montreal. I mean, all the Americans were off because it was George Washington Day, and he was like, "I'll be getting this day off soon when we become the 51st state." But no, they've all really banded together. But no, fuck you, we're not going to buy anything American. All of the American stuff that's already in supermarkets has been moved to the bottom shelves.
I feel that they are so like us.
Yeah.
Because we do that thing with like England that does a stupid like voting for Brexit, and we kind of go like, all right, okay. And you kind of have that quiet grumpiness, but the minute they punch, you're like, right, shut the fuck up now. And it sort of switches into that dynamic where like when a Farage comes up, like we hound him out of town. Yeah. Like we get really aggressive with it. And I think that Canada's quite like that they just sort of accept that they have this neighbour downstairs that's a bit mental, and they kind of quietly put up with it, and they're very diplomatic. But the minute that escalates to a certain point, it's like, right, you shut the fuck up now. Yeah. And that's what they did. the Americans need that. They have, other countries have to bully them. That's the only solution of this. We have to bring back bullying.
Do you think there's a chance, and I don't know how much of a chance there is really, because it would require a level of forethought that I don't believe anybody in that administration possesses. But do you think this is all orchestrated by Trump, the trade wars, the actual wars, so that they can turn around and say, well, nobody is trading with us. We have no option but to trade with, like, Russia. And just,
So I think it's that well thought out by Trump. So I certainly think that what's going on with regards to the fucking tariffs on, tariffs off, I mean, the tariffs are on and off more than a stripper's bra. And I think there's an element of yanking the stock market so that people can
Oh, this is definitely a play. I mean, all his family are making coin out of this. Every time it goes up or down, they're making money.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like
I don't think he is. I don't think he is bright enough to understand the ramifications of it. I think he's actually senile. I think he's got.
I think the cult aspect can't be like underestimated. And I think within those circles, just called Nazi circles, I think there's been an assumption this is going to catch on everywhere else, and they've kind of heard that for years. Remember, like 10 years ago, it's like there's going to be a far right uprising in Europe, and you're like 10 years going, is it though? I mean, like it's a even like in Germany, like 20%. It's a bit of an uptick, but I mean that kind of like remember when Brexit happened? Oh, that'll start a domino effect, and everybody will leave the European Union. It never really happens, and I think that.
Bad it was.
Well, this is the point, is that they're in their little kind of 4chan Nazi land, whatever they're doing, where all these thoughts are coming from. They're thinking, this is the coolest shit ever, man. Every country's going to do this. They're not self-aware enough. The same thing with the Zelensky meeting. They don't know that they look like big, smelly Nazi nerds. They don't perceive themselves that way.
I think that, so the Zelensky meeting in the Oval Office, I honestly think that they thought, right, so this will give us our chance to show Zelensky off. I think they probably thought that he would lose his temper more than he did. They failed to understand this guy was a stand-up comedian. This guy was like a big fucking cheese in the sort of comedy and TV in his country before he ran to be a politician. He is unbelievably fucking bright. And this guy has had doors slammed in his face. He's had hecklers. This guy's dealt with shit for fucking years. None of you are going to make him lose his cool. And he was very, very steadfast. And you're right, the body language was great. But they obviously thought, like, we'll do this and Europe will go and think that they have to follow us. And it's like, it doesn't occur to you that everybody looked at that and went, you disgusting pack of pigs. Fuck you. Yeah. And, and he's getting fucking glad. He's getting hugs and kisses all across fucking Europe. It's like, that wasn't quite the result. And you can see that because everything that's followed has been based on what they thought would happen, not what actually did happen. And none of it actually makes sense in the context of the response in Europe.
And to come back into the thing we've talked about quite a bit before about voter turnout generally going down. So in the UK, in America, certainly that's the case. And to me, what that is indicating is people are just disengaging. We don't want anything to do with this. But even like the Republicans that are kind of left, there's not really such a thing as a normal Republican, but you know what I mean, not the full-on Zeke Heiling Republican. They're just slightly shy of that. They have grown up conditioned. They're like, Russia's the villain. We all know that's the universal constant since like, the 50s, that the Russians are the baddies. Even after the fall of the Berlin Wall, like, okay, it's not Soviet era now, but still pretty bad. And I think that to try and play the card of Russia are actually really cool is an incredibly stupid mistake, because I feel that that's going to have to cause some vulture-based collapse with them, surely.
Was it not actually Marjorie Taylor Greene who tweeted saying something like, don't you find it strange that every villain in the movies in like the 80s and 90s, they were all Russian? Don't think that's strange, implying it was some kind of deep state propaganda. They've not got two brain cells to fucking up together.
No.
But there are, like, these are the people who are voting for Donald Trump. They're also the people who are stalking his cabinet right now. It's incredible, and I think that this is obviously Trump's going to be in for 4 years, and then
no,
I don't. Well, he's good again for however long he lasts. I know, my brand.
He looks like shit. He's got 6 months in him.
Sure. Pop it around like nothing
I think there's a danger of all this stuff of like us like overanalyzing because I mean really this is just stupid people doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. I mean, we can look at it like, oh, why would they do this when it's going to have this effect in Canada and it's going to have this effect in Europe? They don't care about that. They're really just talking to the MAGA base.
Yes.
They're huffing their own farts and they just don't have a thought about the ramifications of anything they're doing.
They don't know anything or understand anything, and they can't.
Don't know any of the data or the numbers. He keeps going on about 300 billion. No one thinks it's 300 billion that they've spent in Ukraine.
connected publicly 3 times and he just keeps repeating it.
Yeah.
The thing that really actually did surprise me, which I didn't think anything could anymore, was just the reporting that came out from the meeting that they had, the cabinet meeting they had with Elon Musk yesterday or the day before, whatever the time difference is. And Marco Rubio and Elon Musk went head to head, and Elon Musk, the way that he was speaking, it was just the way that he speaks to everybody who works with him. Just snarky, no substance to back anything up. Just a nasty little cunt bully, because that's how he talks to people who work for or with him. And people, they got quite heated. But the way that they were all talking, they were talking about, DEI, we need to get the best. And the guy, like the transport secretary was like, what, Elon, what the fuck do you want me to do? I've got planes falling out the sky and you've got DOGE guys coming in telling me to fire all these air traffic controllers. And he was like, well, tell me who you fired. He's like, nobody, because I fucking told him to fuck off. Like, I'm not firing him. What do you actually want me to do? And then Trump was like, listen, we need to get the best air traffic controllers. I want all of your air traffic controllers to come from MIT. It's just a ridiculous fucking thing to say. But the way they were talking, they were like, and DEI, any DEI hires, we really need to. And it's like, oh, you actually believe this stuff? I thought this was all just pantomime from the base, but like, oh no, you guys actually all believe this, and if you don't, you're having to pretend you do for Trump's sake. But it's like, that's actually surprised me that even in private, when they're talking in cabinet meetings, and obviously this got leaked by somebody who was in the cabinet meeting because we're all fucking pissed off at Elon Musk, and there was a bunch of them that had grievances that they had privately aired, and after Elon Musk spoke to both of them that way, they then chose not to air their grievances in that meeting, but then obviously went and spoke to like a New York Times reporter, which keep doing that, fair enough.
Do you think we might end up in a kind of Chernobyl-y type situation eventually with all this incompetency? With kind of like an empire, that was the the straw that breaks the camel's back.
It's absolutely, and so I mean, when you watch Chernobyl, you really get that beautiful sense of inconvenient facts, not that people can't discuss them, and this is where you are. I mean, they've fired and then tried to rehire the people who take care of like nuclear waste. They've fired and had to try and rehire the people that are doing like bird flu.
Keep going. I just thought something in my head. Keep going.
So they fired and hired the people who are dealing with like measles, and like it's just one thing after a fucking another. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like how many.
You know that Bill Hicks bit where it's the kid on the plane. Yes, and the kid comes over and he goes to the emergency exit and starts flipping the handle to the door. And always tries to stop, and I'm like, wait a minute.
We're about to learn a valuable lesson here.
I just thought that's, I think, kind of where we're at, because I thought about it because Freeson, before we started recording, that he'd got a flag on Blue Sky, I think, because he had suggested that maybe we should just nuke America. And I thought, they might do that for us, actually, if we just kind of let this fucking play out here and see about it. Yeah, let's just see what fucking happens.
They've not had the annual meeting to decide on what strain of the flu they're going to put into the flu vaccines. That affects the whole world.
Yeah. Well, this is what we talked about, the dome, to come back to the dome idea. I think, we need to start taking it further. I like the fact that most of the European leaders were like, okay, we're just going to keep doing the Ukraine thing just without you. We're just going to go and sit in the corner. We'll handle this. I think we should extend that. We should stop them being able to travel, keep them over there. We should get walls up.
This year's flu vaccine has been replaced by syringes full of bleach. Just look.
think you could end up having, this could be the impetus for undoing Brexit as well. It's a very organic way of, Starmer seems to be quite into rebuilding the relationship with the European leaders off the back of the Ukraine thing. That's quite an organic door.
It's quite helpful because Norway
back in the right direction.
on board as well. They're not in the EU either. So
yeah. The idea that actually all that stuff that Farage was fear-mongering about a European army sounds like quite a good idea right now. Maybe we should get one because we're kind of in a pincer situation right now with America and Russia.
Because Farage has obviously reform where their support was creeping up. We spoke about this on one of the...
Which is because the Tories are moving over, isn't it?
Yeah, but so their support was creeping up. Farage has made public appearances over the last few days where he is repeating Russian state propaganda, but his base of support are also massive red-faced Churchill humping like Gannons, flag charges. So the fact that he's coming out with these lies that everyone knows are lies, his support is dwindling now. They're all like, this guy's shilling for Putin, because again, that is not a popular sentiment here. Yeah. And I wonder how many people who were taken in by the Brexit thing are waking up in horror to realise that this was Russian orchestrated weakening of Europe, because that's what they want. I wonder how many people...
Because we started our own movement in Scotland. It was broadly, obviously, we were anti-Brexit. So for the majority of people... we didn't go down that line, but there was a minority within the Scottish independence movement that got really into it because Putin's been involved in that. Yeah. Because the whole kind of anti-tried, like for the record, I'm anti-nuclear weapons, right? But the whole kind of breaking up the UK, that would really benefit Russia. Get rid of Trident, oh, that's even better. You know, so understandably, the Russians are like, yeah, get some of us in there. And like Salmond turning up in RT, I don't think was a coincidence. So there's lots of moving parts, but we broadly were a bit stronger. We saw through this faster, but I think you're right that I think England are now starting to go, oh, right, that's why that happened.
I think a lot of people will not admit to themselves that was what it always was, or that was always what it was. Mm-hmm. But they will allow themselves this as an excuse to move their position.
Which I'm totally fine
That's
with.
what I meant by Starmer, by the way. That's what I was trying to say, because obviously Starmer is a U-turning, but it's the Blair brain of like, but politically I can kind of get away with this now if we just say this.
Sometimes have to build a golden bridge for people to...
So ironically, this has been I guess Putin's fall down in strategy has been getting total morons to do the dirty work, because this was probably never going to really work.
Well, I know, but that was because only morons applied.
That's true.
I think J.D. Vance's comments about of what a random little country that hasn't fought a war in the last 30 or 40 years, that really inflamed the flag shaggers, because...
Yeah, listen, I mean, my dad was a soldier.
You feel patriotic.
Well, listen, pal, docking on the UK is our thing.
Yeah, exactly. You're fuck off.
Yeah, we can fucking say that, yeah. Also, the wars that we were in was because of your stupid fucking country.
Yeah, you know, the only nation who's invoked Article 5.
Uh-huh.
And these are all, and why should we? So, yeah, as that a French politician was saying, why, like, America have proven themselves that as an ally, they're fucking useless, because they're not actually going to...
They won't come to your defence, and they'll consort with your enemy.
Exactly. So I think that they'll probably have further reaching consequences for America than just the Trump presidency. Because it's the words and the decisions of one man, seemingly. He's making the decisions and he's demented, obviously. But nobody is standing up to him. Nobody's stopping this. No one's doing anything to oppose him.
Yeah.
That's a fucking problem. So if we have an agreement, we give up our nuclear arms for your guarantee of protection, then you go, quick, actually no. That means that no one's ever going to do business with you again in that way.
Well, that already out of the deal, to be honest with you, that already happened, because when, that's what Ukraine did. And so in 2014, when the incursions started happening into Ukraine, that, with the little green men walked across the border, we all ought to have been fucking on the ground in Ukraine then. But I'm afraid Obama shat the bed and didn't want to do it.